हरिः ओं तत्सत् श्रीगुरुभ्यो नमः। हरिः ओं ॐ सदाशिवसमारम्भां व्यासशङ्करमध्यमाम् अस्मदाचार्यपर्यन्तां वन्दे गुरुपरम्पराम्। श्रुतिस्मृतिपुराणानाम् आलयं करुणालयम् नमामि भगवत्पादशङ्करं लोकशङ्करम्। शङ्करं शङ्कराचार्यं केशवं बादरायणं सूत्रभाष्यकृतौ वन्दे भगवन्तौ पुनः पुनः। ॐ ईश्वरो गुरुरात्मेति मूर्तिभेदविभागिने व्योमवद्व्याप्तदेहाय दक्षिणामूर्तये नमः। ॐ सहना भवतु सहनौ भुनक्तु सह वीर्यङ्करवावहै तेजस्विनावधीतमस्तु मा विद्विषावहै। ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः। Thiru Yanima, one of you, Lakshma, please put on the group that Hachin and all came and he went. So Padminima, Hachin, they all came and went. So please inform them.
Sachin knows. Sorry.
See the timings, you see. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Guru Pavana Pureshaya. Om Namo Narayanaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Krishnaya. He Krishna Guru Pavana Puresha Narayana Murte Bhagavan Paramatman Sarvavyapin Sarvarupin Sarvaswarupin Sarvadhara Sarvajnanadhara Jnanarupa Jnanaswarupa Raksha Raksha Jagadishwara Parameshwara Om. So we are seeing the fifth dashakam. Here, let us recite those verses. Panchamam dashakam. So Virat Utpatti Varnanam. Vyakta Vyaktamidana Kinchida Bhavat Prak Prakrita Prakshaye Mayayam Guna Samya Ruddha Vikrutau Tvayagatayam Layam No Mrutyuscha Tadamrutancha Samabhon Non Naratre Sthitihi Tat Kila Parananda Prakashatmana Kalah Karma Gunascha Jivanivaha Vishwancha Karyam Vibho Chillīlārati meyushittvaitada nirlīnatāmāyayuh Teshānnaiva vadantya sattvamayi bho shaktyātmana tishtatam no chet kim gagana prasona sadrusham bhoyo bhavet sambhavah. I'm just reciting the verses which we have already completed so that we will, because we are starting after a break. Evancha dviparardha vigata vikshamsi srukshatmikam Vibhrane tvayi chukshubhe tribhuvani bhavaya maya swayam Mayatah khalu kala shaktirakila drishtam svabhavopi cha Pradurbhuya gunan vikasya विदधुस्तस्या सहायक्रियाम् माया सन्निहितो प्रविष्टवपुषा साक्षीति गीतो भवान् भेदैस्तां प्रतिबिम्बतो विविशिवान् जीवोऽपि नैवापरः कालादिप्रतिबोधिताथ भवता सञ्चोदिता च स्वयं माया सा खलु बुद्धितत्त्वमसृजद्योऽसौ महानुच्यते तत्रासौ त्रिगुणात्मकोऽपि च महान् सत्त्वप्रधानः स्वयं जीवेऽस्मिन् खलु निर्विकल्पमहमित्युद्बोधनिष्पादकः चक्रेऽस्मिन् सविकल्पबोधकमहं तत्त्वं महान् खल्वसौ सम्पुष्टं त्रिगुणैस्तमोति बहुलं विष्णो भवत्प्रेरणात् सोऽहं च त्रिगुणक्रमात् त्रिविधतामासाद्य वैकारिको भूयस्तैजसतामसाविति भवन्नाद्येन सत्त्वात्मना देवानिन्द्रियमानिनो कृतदिशा वातार्कपाशश्विनो वह्नीन्द्राच्युतमित्रकान् विधुविधिः श्रीरुद्रशारीरकान् भूमन्मानसबुद्ध्यहङ्कृतिमिलच्चित्ताख्यवृत्त्यन्वितम् तच्चान्तःकरणं विभो तव बलात् सत्त्वांश एवासृजत् जातस्तैजसतो दशेन्द्रियगणस्तत्तामसांशात् पुनः तन्मात्रं नभसो मरुत्पुरपते शब्दो जनित्वद्बलात् शब्दाद्व्योमततः ससर्जित विभो स्पर्शन्ततो मारुतम् तस्माद्रूपमथो महोऽथ च रसं तोयं च गन्धं महीम् एवं माधव पूर्वपूर्वकलनादाद्याद्यधर्मान्वितं भूतग्राममिवं त्वमेव भगवन् भूतग्राममिमं त्वमेव भगवन् प्राकाशयस्तामसात्. We completed until this verse. We have to see the 9th verse. Before, let us see the 9th verse also. Then I'll tell you. Yete bhutaganastathendriyagana devascha jatah prithak. Yete bhutaganastathendriyagana devascha jatah prithak. No shekurбhuvananda nirmiti vidho devairami-bhistada. No shekurбhuvananda nirmiti vidho devairami-bhistada. Tvam nana-vidha suktibhirnuta gunastattvanya vishan. Tvam nana-vidha suktibhirnuta gunastattvanya vishan. चेष्टा शक्तिमुदीर्यतानि घटयन् हैरण्यमण्डं व्यधाः. चेष्टा शक्तिमुदीर्यतानि घटयन् हैरण्यमण्डं व्यधाः. एते भूतगणास्तथेन्द्रियगणा देवाश्च जाताः पृथक्. No shekurбhuvananda nirmiti vidho. No shekurбhuvananda nirmiti vidho devairami-bhistada. Devairami-bhistada. Tvam nana-vidha suktibhirnuta gunastas. Tvam nana-vidha Shukti gunastattvanya vishan Tvam nana vidha suktibhir Nuta gunastattvanya vishan Cheshta shakti mudiryata nighatayan Cheshta shakti mudiryata nighatayan Hairanyamandam yadha Cheshta shakti mudiryata nighatayan Hairanyamandam yadha. So let us remember here, I think last class as I was talking to you, the connection went off, so I had to remind you. This is from the fifth verse alone, the Bhattacharya presents the Srishti. He discusses the topic of creation here. As I said, the topic of very important to understand. I'm going to summarize the whole fifth chapter. Hereafter, I'll be summarizing the chapters. So the next class, I'll summarize the whole thing because let me conclude these two verses today. So the topic of creation is discussed in the Upanishads. So the same topic of creation is discussed in the Puranas, because whatever is discussed in the Upanishads alone is discussed in the Puranas. Puranas cannot say what is not discussed in the Upanishads, because all the Puranas are meant for reflecting the same teaching. So subtle facts are personified in the Puranas. Subtle facts, subtle concepts are personified in the Puranas. That's the only difference. So when Srishti is discussed, we must remember very well the discussion on Srishti is not to establish the creation. It's very important. Usually when you talk about something, we want to talk about that. The whole Srishti is discussed ultimately to establish the fact that there is no creation at all. Can you believe? Why is Srishti discussed? The topic of creation is discussed not to say, oh, this is how creation is. No, there's no creation at all. If there's no creation at all means what Upanishad wants to state, same Bhagavatam also wants to state. What Bhagavatam wants to state, again, Narayana Bhattacharya also wants to repeat the same thing, which means there's no creation at all means whatever is only manifestation. Manifestation means what? What is not available for experience, when becomes available for experience, objectification, enjoyment, is said to be manifestation. When the whole Jagat, including time and space, exists there, but there is a time the universe is not available for experience. There is a time universe is not available for objectification. There is a time universe is not available for interaction. So whenever the universe, including time and space, so time factor is important. Time also is part of the universe. The very subtle concept of time and the space, time and space, and all the innumerable countless forms, names, and functions which exist as part and parcel of which exist as the universe, isn't it? The innumerable countless forms, names, and functions which exist within the realm of this time and space, the entire objective universe is always there. Nothing is created. But there's a time it remains unmanifest. Unmanifest means, what does the word unmanifest? Being unmanifest means what? Not being available for experience, not being available for enjoyment, not being available for interaction, transaction, is said to be being unmanifest. And what is unmanifest? When it becomes manifest. Becoming manifest means what? So when it is available for experience, enjoyment, objectification, then we say universe is manifest. So the unmanifest universe becoming manifest alone is said to be creation. Again, the manifest universe becoming unmanifest is said to be dissolution. This is constantly happening. What is dissolution? What is creation? So dissolution is not destruction. Dissolution is only relative destruction. Because when what is undergoes a change. Why this change happens? The change is inevitable, unavoidable. There's a constantly this change happens. The world becomes unmanifest, and from being unmanifest, it becomes manifest. The manifest becomes unmanifest, unmanifest becomes manifest. This is constantly happening. This unmanifest universe becoming manifest alone is said to be creation. This is the same subject matter, whether you study Upanishad or Bhagavad Gita or Puranas, this fact has to be remembered. That is why in Shastram it is made very clear, nothing is created, nothing is destroyed. This is the fact established in physics also. Nothing is created, nothing is destroyed. So there is no creation, there is no destruction. But still, and his creation is talked about here. So, but what is the purpose of discussing the topic of creation? To understand the reality. The creation is discussed only to help us understand what is the truth of the universe. So by discussing the Srishti, creation, ultimately, the aim of the Upanishad, the aim of the Shastram is to make us understand what the reality is. So by way of helping us understand what the reality is, finally, we'll arrive at the reality as our own Swarupam, our own essential nature. So by understanding the reality, obtaining as our own essential nature, there's a great benefit. What's the benefit? The perspective, the perception we have about the self and the world will change. So when our perception of the world and the self changes, then naturally the so-called human misery resolves, which is said to be moksha, isn't it? At the end, all the human miseries resolve in the right perspective of the self and the world. So for the right perspective of the self and the world, what you need is clear vision of what the reality is. And to help us arrive at the reality, obtaining as the self, Upanishads discuss the topic of creation. So Bhattacharya also discusses the same thing. So here reality is, and the reality is endowed with the power. What is power? Endowed with the power means what? Let me make it very clear. If we say sun is Suryaha asti, Suryasya Shaktihi asti, we say Suryasya Shakti asti. Sun is endowed with the power of illumining. So power of illumining is the nature of the sun. Nature itself is the power. So sun is illumining means sun does not need to do any action to illumine the world. Mere presence itself is enough to illumine the world. Why does sun illumine? Can you ever ask? That is the nature of the sun. Why does sun illumine the opaque world of opaque things? Because illumining is the nature of the sun. It is not an action. Sun does not need to do anything to bring things to light. It's a Swarupam. That nature is said to be what? Swarupam. Unchangeable nature is said to be Swarupam. Okay, the two words, Swabhavaha and Swarupam. Swabhavaha also people take it as nature. Really speaking, Swabhava is the disposition. Swabhava means a disposition of the person. This is his Swabhava, isn't it? That is different. Swarupam is an intrinsic nature. See, illumining is the nature of the sun. That illumining itself is, when it's a sun is capable of illumining. So sun is endowed with the capacity to illumine, which is said to be the Swarupam. Shaktireva Swarupam. There are two different things. So similarly, fire is there. Fire is capable of burning. The same example I give everywhere because not to confuse. In Vedanta class also I give the same example. So fire is endowed with the capacity to burn. So burning is the Agnehe Shaktihi, the power of the fire. It is capable of burning, means it is the nature. Why does the fire burn? Burning is the nature. So Swarupam is Shaktihi. Similarly, you cannot separate the Shakti from its source. So you cannot separate the power of the illumining power from sun. You cannot separate the burning power from the fire. So the fire is the source of the power of burning. Sun is the source of the power of illumining. You cannot separate the power from the powerful, its source. So sun is powerful. Fire is powerful. It's endowed with the power of illumining, burning, etc. Similarly, absolutely, what is the most powerful? Everything is relatively powerful. Sun has certain power, isn't it? Absolutely, there's what is the powerful? The powerful alone is looked upon as Shaktimat Brahma. We say Ishvaraha. Shaktimat Brahma. So the absolute reality is endowed with the power of knowing. Why does the reality know? Knowing is the Swarupam. That power alone is said to be what? Swarupam also. Swarupameva Shaktihi. The reality is endowed with the power of knowing. Reality has the nature of knowing. Shaktihi. And that power alone, when unmanifest, there's a time the power is unmanifest. Suppose you will simply, when you see the flame of fire in your puja room, you see the flame of the fire in a small wick. There, that tiny little flame, amazing. Unless we're not careful, it can burn everything. You know, in one of my students' house, it happened in London. I think the curtain, London very, very careful. It caught the curtain and it would burn the whole thing. Luckily, they had insurance. But what I'm saying, the puja room flame, the flame in a puja room lamp also, very tiny little lamp, it is then the power of burning. What all the power of fire can do, that is unmanifest. Fire alone is. This power of burning is not manifest. In the kitchen, you see the power of burning is manifest. There also it's manifest. I mean, how it helps you cook and all that. So, similarly, the power is, as a time, power is not manifest. So here also the reality is absolute reality. I'm adding the adjective absolute because I can say with reference to ocean, water is reality. Because that without which something cannot exist. So with reference to ocean, water is the reality, means relative. With reference to ornament, gold is reality, means relative. It's all relative, relatively real. But what is absolutely real, ultimately real, with reference to the entire Jagat? What is that one thing without which time cannot exist, without which space cannot exist, without which time and all the forms, names, and functions which exist within the realm of time and space cannot exist? What is the one thing? It is said to be absolute reality. Parabrahma Vastu, Parambarul, they say. This absolute reality is also endowed with the power. And the power is inseparable. And that power alone, we say what? That power is, the power is unmanifest. It is called Maya. And the power unmanifest is, when the power is not recognized, when it's not available for experience, it is called unmanifest, is Maya. The power manifest is what? Jnanam. Maya is another word for ignorance. Maya is another word for ignorance. Therefore, Maya and ignorance are synonyms. That is why for us, ajnanam, ignorance is not absence of knowledge. Okay, so when there's Maya, the power of not ignorant, the power of reality, manifest is what? Jnanam. Manifest is jnanam, unmanifest is ajnanam. So jnanam and ajnanam are not something absence of knowledge. Jnanam and ajnanam are two different names attributed to the power of reality. Only power of reality in two different conditions. When it is manifest, it is called jnanam. Unmanifest, it is called maya. And what is the source of the power? Reality. Whether it is manifest or unmanifest, the power is never separable from its source. The manifest power also is inseparable from its source. Unmanifest also is inseparable from its source. Isn't it? I always give an example. When you see the stillness of water, where is stillness? Can you separate stillness and the stillness of water? The stillness of water and the water. You see a lake filled with water. And how is the water there? The water is still. In the lake, water is still. Can you separate stillness of water and the water? You can't separate. There is stillness. But does stillness exist independently without the water? No. You have to say there is water, there is stillness. But stillness is of the water, inseparable. And when the stillness is disturbed, we have ripples of water, waves of water. And the waves are, stillness is not. Stillness is, waves are not. But whether it is there is a stillness, whether there are waves, what is what? Water is always there. Whether there's a stillness of water, whether there are waves of water, what should be there for the waves and the stillness to be there? There must be water. Without water, there cannot be stillness, there cannot be waves also. Similarly, the manifest power, knowledge also is not outside of the reality. Unmanifest also is not outside of the reality. So the power is always inseparable from its source. And that inseparable, the powerful reality alone is said to be what? Is Brahma. When you look at the reality as the powerful, then you give the name Ishvara. Same Brahma Vastu. When you look at the reality as powerful, the reality is ended with the power. But when you appreciate the powerfulness of the reality, then the title is given. The reality endowed with the power is given the qualification of Ishvara. Bhagavan, look at it. So here Bhattadaji says, Guruvarappa, from everything, the Maya alone created the Mahatattvam. From thereafter, all the elements have been created. Everything has come into existence. Means, what is the main thing we have to understand? When the Shastram presents, everything has come into existence from your Shakti. Means power is inseparable. Means nothing in the world is separable from Brahma. Just as effect is inseparable from its cause, stillness is inseparable from its source water, waves are inseparable from its source water. Similarly, whether Maya, when the world is unmanifest, you call it Maya. The Maya manifest is what? World. So the Jagat is the Karyam, Brahma Karanam. Bhagavan is the cause. The whole Jagat is Karyam. Karanam and Karyam, cause and effect. Then what do? At least remember, there's no creation, but still Shastram presents the teaching in this manner, just to make us understand. If everything has, the whole Jagat has come into existence from Bhagavan, means the Jagat is non-separate from Bhagavan. Is next step. Okay, Karyam Karanad Abhinnam. The effect is non-separate from its cause, inseparable from the cause. If an effect is inseparable, non-separate from the cause, means, what does it mean? The whole effect is the cause. It's exactly like saying, what is the chain? Chain is gold. What is bangle? Bangle is gold. All the ornaments are gold. Ornaments made of gold are inseparable from gold. Even the gold is not chain, gold is not bangle, gold is not any of the ornaments. Every ornament is gold. So water is not the ocean, but the ocean is water. Similarly, Parambrahma Vastu, Paramatma, Bhagavan is not the Jagat, but the whole Jagat is Paramatma, Paramatma Vastu. What is Paramatma Vastu? That we have to understand. We are going to see that later on. We start in the very opening, first Dashakam, we saw Paramatma Vastu is pure consciousness. The pure consciousness which is free from Kala, Desha, Vastu, Avachinnam Vastu. We saw the first verse, opening verse, a beautiful verse. Sandranandavabodhatmakam anupamitam Kala Desha Avadibhyam. So Kala Desha Avadibhyam Nirmuktam, Nityamuktam. Isn't it? That Vastu, Paramatma Vastu, Parabrahma Vastu is Kala Desha Avadibhyam Nirmuktam, which is absolutely free from time, space, object limitations. Therefore, it is of the nature of infinitude, reality, consciousness. Is essential. That's how Bhagavan is, actually. So we personify, then we see Bhagavan. Bhagavan as the source of the whole Jagat. Now the whole Jagat has come into existence from Bhagavan means, if I say the chain has been made out of gold, means what? The chain does not have independent existence without the gold. When he says Jagat has come into existence from Bhagavan, means Jagat has no independent existence outside of Bhagavan. So Jagat is Bhagavan. Okay, it is very important to understand. If this Karana-Karya Sambandha, no, even though Bhagavan is not the cause, Jagat is not the effect, still the Shastram presents this teaching, the Karya-Karana Prakriya. Okay, this Prakriya, the method of presenting Bhagavan, the method of the teaching methodology is used, is called teaching methodology is Karya Karana Prakriya or Srishti Prakriya. This method of analyzing the creation is to arrive at Bhagavan, to understand the fact that Bhagavan is, the Jagat is inseparable, non-separate from Bhagavan. Just as an ornament is inseparable, non-separate from the gold. So the whole Jagat is Bhagavan. So just as cause pervades the effect, see, gold pervades the entire chain or anything, Bhagavan remains pervading the whole Jagat here. That is Vishwameva Rupam Yasya Vishwarupaha. The whole cosmos is the form of Bhagavan. Therefore, that is why we say Vishwarupaha. Vishwarupa Darshanam means what? Understanding the fact that the whole Jagat is Bhagavan. Bhagavan alone, Bhagavan as the reality is in the form of the whole Jagat. There's nothing which is not Bhagavan here. In jewelry mart, there's no ornament which is not gold. So similarly, here time is Bhagavan, space is Bhagavan, and all the forms, names and functions, elements, elementals, mobile beings, immobile beings, living things, non-living things, everything is Bhagavan. So Bhagavan is the mouth of the whole Jagat. This is Vishwarupa Darshanam. Appreciation of this fact of the whole Jagat being manifestation of the only reality. Thereby understanding the whole Jagat being non-separate from the truth is what? Vishwarupa Darshanam. Look, everything is Bhagavan means where are you? Are you outside of Bhagavan? All it is, there's only Bhagavan. Means, and then there's no Ahankara. Where am I? Ahankara, isn't it? You are not outside of the whole universe. This understanding of Bhagavan being the whole helps you resolve your Ahankara. Where is I sitting separately? This is the first step of understanding. So all that is there is only Bhagavan. So it's Puja Swamiji used to say very beautifully, we never say Bhagavan is one. In Vedika Dharma, we never say God is one. We never say gods are many also. For us, what is there is only Bhagavan. All that is, there's only Bhagavan. Because everything is Bhagavan. Bhagavan is not anything, but everything is Bhagavan. That is why anything can become a symbol of Bhagavan the whole. That is why it's convenient for us to fill our puja room with so many forms, so many pictures, because anything can become a symbol of Bhagavan the whole. Because all that is there is only Bhagavan. This is the main idea. Now, what about this whole gross universe? Gross universe is known as Virat. The entire gross universe is looked upon as manifestation of the reality Bhagavan. Being able to look at the whole gross universe as Bhagavan means we call the universe, we do not look at the universe as a mere inert matter. We look at it as manifestation of knowledge. Ishvara, Bhagavan. Then you give the name Virat, the gross universe. A scientist looks at the gross universe as a inert matter. Whereas a Vedanti, a Vaidika, should look at the universe as what? Bhagavan. Then what is the name given? Virat. Virat Ishvaraha. Virat Ishvaraha. Why is that specific name? Vividham Rajate iti Virat. Only, see, one water alone shines as innumerable countless waves. There's no wave without water. Only one substance called gold is in the form of so many ornaments. Whether bangles and varieties of bangles, too many designs of chains and ornaments, all are expressed. One thing if you remove, all of them will disappear. Chains will disappear, bangles will disappear, all the forms will disappear if you remove the gold. Which means one vastu, actual substance is one. There's so many forms and so many names and so many purposes they serve also. Chain is worn on the neck and the bangles are worn on the bank place. So the purpose they serve is difference in purpose, difference in names, difference in forms. But for all of them, form, nama, rupa, karma, for all of them, vastu, substance is one, isn't it? Similarly here, Bhagavan for us is the very reality without whose presence Jagat cannot exist at all is Bhagavan. Vastu reality is Bhagavan. So the whole Jagat is what? Only gold alone, Vividham Rajate. Similarly, the only reality is shining as innumerable countless forms. That is why we say Virat. Only reality shining as many is what? Said to be Virat. Vividham Rajate iti Virat. What is this our objective universe, gross universe? We do not look at the Jagat as mere Jagat. We look at it as Bhagavan. When you look at the Jagat as Bhagavan, what do you mean? Manifestation of Jnanam. Knowledge. Manifestation of consciousness, the whole Jagat is knowledge. Then you see it as what? Virat. It's called Virat, okay? Is the Virat Utpatti Varnanam. So now we have come up to, we need to understand, let us continue now. This is what I started last class and then we got broken. Let us continue here. Now already the idea is, and also because just now we finished Navaratri, that is the purpose of having Golu also. The Golu itself is a miniature universe. Why do we keep, isn't it? What whatever comes into the existence in the world, anything which enjoys the status of being existent is manifestation of knowledge. And anything which is manifestation of knowledge is what? Ishvara Rupam, the form of Bhagavan. Anything which enjoys the status of being existent, obtaining in any form, is Bhagavan, form of Bhagavan. It's a manifestation of knowledge. So the whole Jagat, that's why Golu, you can have anything and everything. The Golu is a miniature universe. You can't go into Namaskaram for the Jagat because you're part of the Jagat. Being a fraction of the whole, okay, infinitude, the whole, you cannot go and do Namaskaram to the whole Jagat. That's why have an altar. See, this is a symbol. The Golu is a symbol for the miniature universe. Namaskaram for the miniature universe. And every year the toys are included with all new things. Whatever comes there. Now, before 15 years, 20 years ago, we never had computers on that. Now we had small toy computer, toy iPads, toy iPods. Everything has come now in the Golu. Now, this year newly, we have all the Golu dolls have also mask. Isn't it? Not the one, all whatever comes is Bhagavan. It's amazing attitude. Able to look at anything which is there is Bhagavan. Not only the pleasure and thing, everything is Bhagavan only. That is why Bhagavan is, see, one name of Bhagavan, Vishwanathaha, Jagadishaha, Vishveshwaraha, Kashi Vishwanathaha, Jagadishwaraha, Jagannathaha, Puri Jagannathaha, Kashi Vishwanatha, same meaning. Two different names, same meaning. The Lord of the universe, we say, because the truth without whose presence the universe cannot exist at all is called, says, looked upon as the Lord of the universe. But another word is there. The very universe is Bhagavan, Vishwam. That's why in Vishnu Sahasranama, the first name of the word Lord is what? Vishwam. Because Vividhehi Pratyahi Gamyam is Vishwam. So that which is constituted of innumerable, countless forms, names, and functions. That which is constituted of innumerable, countless forms, indicated by innumerable, countless words, associated with the innumerable, countless functions or purposes, is Vishwam. First name of the Lord, not even Vishwanathaha. Vishwam itself is Bhagavan's name. Vishwam is Bhagavan. It's what Virat. Okay? Let us continue with this understanding. This I want to tell you last class, I couldn't tell. Let us continue now. So Bhagavan says here, we saw that everything has come into existence. All the elements have come into existence. The subtle elements, means all subtle aspects of the elements. The elements have come. And all the devatas are here around. Devatas means the presiding deities of the powers, subtle sense powers, powers of organs of actions, physiological, all of them are here now. But still, it is like making spare parts. All the spare parts are there. No, the spare parts need to be assembled for them to be useful and effective, isn't it? See, spare parts, you have to manufacture, the person who manufactures the spare parts. The spare part, when it is made, it serves a purpose. For what purpose he is making the door, for what purpose he is making the wheels, for what purpose he is making the steering. All the spare parts are made. With the purpose, they have purpose, with the different names also. One is called wheel, one is called steering, one is called bonnet, one is called engine, door, etc., seat, etc. Then they have to be assembled. Assembling them together is what? Intelligently putting together. Puja Swami's beautiful expression. Putting together intelligently. You can't put exactly, everything must be put exactly where it has to be. When assembled intelligently, it becomes something useful. It serves a purpose. Is it clear? So, it's the same topic I'm discussing Kena Upanishad also now. So here, like that, all of them, all the spare parts, it is as though the spare parts have been made, but they have to be intelligently put together. Even after intelligently putting them together also, it has to be activated, means the driver should go and sit in the car and then he start the car. Otherwise, car will not move. The purpose won't get served. Similarly here, Bhattacharya is telling now, let us see the 9th verse now. So, yete bhuta ganas tathendriya gana devascha jatav pruthak. So, all these have come into existence on a pruthak jataha. Pruthak jataha. They all have come into existence. What have come into existence? Jataha means they have originated. They are born. They have come into existence. Yete bhuta ganaha. All the elements are here. Indriya ganaha, sense organs, organs of actions. Jnanendriyani, karmendriyani, all of them are here. Then devaha cha, ete bhuta ganaha, tatha indriya ganaha, devaha cha, jataha. Now, they're all pruthak means what? Pruthak, they remain separate. They're not assembled together. They're all there. So, when they're all separate, they're not assembled together intelligently, then they do not serve any purpose. Isn't it? Different spare parts must be assembled together for them to become effective, to be useful. So here what it is said, na shekuhu, even though indriyas were all the devas, all the indriyani, all the organs of actions, organs of knowledge, elements, elementals, all of devas, preceding devatas, all of them are here. Still, prithak, remaining separate, no shekuhu. Remaining, prithak means remaining separate. No shekuhu means they were not able to, they were not capable in what? Bhuvananda nirmiti vidhau. They were not capable, capable of producing, of forming the Jagat. Bhuvana anda nirmiti vidhau. Bhuvananda nirmiti vidhau na shekuhu. Even though they're all there, they were not able to constitute the whole Jagat. All of them together have, see, all the spare parts have together become assembled together to constitute the car. So all these separate devatas, all of them, they were not able to constitute the Jagat. So Bhuvananda nirmiti vidhau na shekuhu. They were not capable of constituting the whole as one whole Jagat. Therefore, it said, Amibihi devaihi. No shekur bhuvananda nirmiti vidhau devairami bhistada. So, amibihi devaihi. What did they do then? Tvam nana vidha sukti bhirnuta gunaha. So, by all these devas, the passive voice sentence, they amibihi devaihi tada guruvarappa tvam nana vidha suktibihi nutagunaha. So by all these devas, the passive voice sentence, by all these devas, you were glorified, you were praised. Nutagunaha, you were praised of what? You were glorified of your virtues. Amibihi devaihi nanavida suktibihi, with various hymns of praise. Nanavida suktibihi, with various hymns of praise. Nutagunaha, so your virtues were praised, glorified. With the hymns of praise, your virtues were highlighted, praised. Then what happened? When Bhagavan was glorified by Devas with the hymns of praise, Tvam nanavida suktibihi nutagunaha. when your virtues were glorified with many hymns of praise by the devas, Tattvani amuni avishat. Avishan. Avishan means entering. Shatruvanta Shabda. Avishati, Avishat, Avishan. Tattvani, Amoni Tattvani, Avishan, entering all these tattvas, all these Bhagavan entered. Until Bhagavan entered, they were all Jadam. Entry of Bhagavan into them, they gave them what? Existence, status of being existent in life. Tattvani, Amuni, Tattvanyamuni, Tvam nana vidha sukti bhirnuta gunas Tattvanyamunya vishan. Tattvani amuni avishan. Tattvani amuni avishan. Gvarapa entering into all those tattvams, all those things. Then what happened? All those categories. Cheshta shaktim udirya. Cheshta shaktim udirya. So blessing them with the power of action. Blessing them with the power of activity. Cheshta shakti means power of activity or the capacity to act. You blessed them with udirya, having blessed them with the power of activity. Cheshta shakti means kriya shakti. Kriya shaktim udirya dattva. Then what happened? Tani ghatayan. Ghatayan means assembling them together, putting them together intelligently. Tani ghatayan means joining them together, putting them together, combining them together. Then what happened? Hairanyam andam yadhaha. Hairanyam andam yadhaha means you contributed for the manifestation of subtle universe. Hairanyam andam. Literally, they say Hiranya means gold. Andam means egg. They say Hairanyam andam yadaha means you created the golden egg. Is what they say. We shouldn't take golden egg, okay? What they mean is Hairanyam andam, golden egg means what? You conscious, you convert, you brought the subtle universe into manifestation. See, the sense organs, organs of actions, mind, etc. When there is manifestation of consciousness, then it is called what? The samashti buddhi, the totality of intellects, totality of minds. When in samashti buddhi, when consciousness becomes manifest, we call it what? Hiranyagarbha. Okay, Hiranyagarbha means what? Hiranyagarbha is nothing but another name of Lord. So now, if the gross universe has to become active, there must be what? Subtle universe, isn't it? Without sukshma, without subtle manifestation, the gross cannot be active. Therefore, to lend life for gross universe, Bhagavan himself created what? Subtle universe. Subtle universe obtaining within the gross universe. Subtle universe obtaining within the gross universe alone lends life for gross universe. So who created subtle universe? Bhagavan created the subtle universe. Okay. Creating subtle universe means what? Lending existence, consciousness, sentiency for subtle aspects. How does Bhagavan lend consciousness, sentiency, existence for subtle things? By becoming manifest. Bhagavan becoming manifest is said to be what? Entering. Bhagavan enters into the universe. Tattvani amuni avishan. Entering into all of them means becoming manifest. It's not a physical entry, like how we are entering into the house. It is not entry like physical entry. Becoming manifest is entering. So having become manifest in all those subtle tattvani, amuni, avishan, Bhagavan entered into all these subtle forms, thereby he created the subtle universe. Subtly, thereby by creating subtle universe, he also lent life for gross universe. So here Bhattadi says, Gvarappa, you created a subtle universe also. How did you create? Yours by becoming manifest. Mean by entering into them. Before they were all saying separate. So they were not able to activate the external universe. When they had a life, then they are able to activate the external universe. For which all the devas glorified you, praised you, with hymns of praise, you entered into the universe, thereby you created the Hiranyam Andam Vyadhaha. You brought subtle universe also into manifestation. Thereby you lent life for the gross universe also. I'll summarize the whole Dashakam next class. It will become much clearer. But now let me go ahead. Next class will be very interesting because you're going to see Vishwarupam of Bhagavan. Okay. No Shekurбhuvanand nirmiti vidho devairami bhistada tvam nana vidha sukti birnuta gunastatvanyamunya vishan cheshta shakti mudiryatani ghatayan hairanyamandam vyadaha. So Hairanyamandam vyadaha means you brought into existence, you created the entire Brahmanda. Brahman, you created the cosmos. What is this here? You brought subtle universe into manifestation. You created the subtle universe. That is the meaning. Hairanyamandam Vyadaha means you created the subtle universe. Okay. Andam tat khalu purva srishta salile tishtat sahasram samaha. Nirbhindana krutaschaturdaša jagadrupam viradahvayam sahasraih karapadamurdhanivahair nissesha jivatmako nirbhatosi marutpuradhipasamam trayasva sarvamayat andam tat खलु पूर्व सृष्ट सलिले तिष्ठत् सहस्रं समाः अंडं तत् खलु पूर्व सृष्ट सलिले तिष्ठत् सहस्रं समाः निर्भिन्दन्न कृताश्चतुर्दश जगद्रूपं विराडाह्वयम् निर्भिन्दन्न कृताश्चतुर्दश जगद्रूपं विराडाह्वयम् साहस्रैः करपादमूर्धनिवहैर्निःशेष जीवात्मको निर्भातोऽसि मरुत्पुराधिपसमां त्रायस्व सर्वामयात् साहस्रैः करपादमूर्धनिवहैर्निःशेष जीवात्मको निर्भातोऽसि मरुत्पुराधिपसमां Trayasva sarvamayat. So now Bhattadiji says, so that whole universe has been created. Very nice. Listen to me carefully. Now what happened? The entire universe has been created. It is not newly created. Okay, it's already there. See, here again brings the idea, the universe is already there. Where it remains unmanifest. The universe remains unmanifest. There's a gross universe, there are elements, elementals, mobile beings, immobile beings, jivas, okay, all the actions, the knowledge, everything is already there. The whole Jagat is there. Nothing is left now. But everything remains how? Unmanifest. Like you, when you are in sleep, what happens to Jagat? When you are fast asleep, what happens to the universe? The universe exists or not? The universe just exists. But the universe, when you are fast asleep, the universe remains unmanifest. The universe is not available for interaction, transaction. You do not know your own existence. You do not know the existence of the world. Just as in deep sleep state, the universe remains unmanifest. Similarly, here also, what happens in the universe remains unmanifest. The remaining unmanifest is said to be what? Universe remaining in waters. This style, Puranic style of saying. The whole Jagat remained for 1000 years. Why 1000 years? Sahasram Samaha. 1000 years is a deep sleep state of Brahmaji. Okay. 1000 years of Pralaya Kala. 1000 years. Okay. Not our 1000 years, different 1000 years. Lord Brahma's 1000 years. Okay. Andam tat khalu purva srishta salile tishtat sahasram samaha. So, that andam means what? The whole Brahmanda remained unmanifest, where purva srishta salile atishtat sahasram samaha. Samaha means years. 1000, Sahasra means 1000. 1000 years. Atishtat, it remained. Where? Purva Srishta Salile. It remained in the waters which has been created before. The whole universe remained for 1000 years in waters means what? This is a Puranic style of saying. Universe remained unmanifest for 1000 years. Then what happened? The universe is not created newly. It's already there. It remained unmanifest in the waters. That is, Puranas say that it remained in Pralaya Jala. It remained in unmanifest in the waters. Means universe was unmanifest. Then what happened? Nirbhindanna krutas chaturdasha jagadrupam viradahvayam. Then Bhagavan Nirbhindan Ahritaha Chaturdasha Jagadrupam Viradahvayam. Then Bhagavan's entry. Bhagavan entered into the Jagat. It remained there already. Bhagavan entered into the Jagat. Thereby what? He brought this universe of 14 worlds into manifestation. The universe of 14 worlds became manifest. So Bhagavan's entry into the Jagat is what? Nothing but knowledge becoming manifest. As the manifestation of knowledge, the whole Jagat becomes manifest. Manifestation of knowledge is manifestation of the universe. Manifestation of the universe means universe being available for experience and enjoyment. Interaction. So Bhagavan's entry is what? Bhagavan becoming manifest in the Jagat is universe becoming manifest. So Guru Arapa, then you entered, it remained for 1000 years in the waters. Then when you entered, then what happened? You brought the whole universe of 14 worlds into manifestation, which is said to be what? Virat. Is it clear now? Yeah. It won't be 100% clear, it will become clearer slowly. So he says, so andam tat andam purva srishta salile atishtat, that entire universe remained unmanifest for 1000 years in the waters. Then what happened? Nirbindan Chaturdasha Jagadrupam Viradahvayam Akritaha. So breaking that means what? Nirbindan means breaking that universe open. Then you converted that universe into a universe of 14 worlds. Means you brought that universe into manifestation. So the entire universe, unmanifest universe becoming manifest is said to be what? Virat being created. It's called creation of the Virat. Then what happened? Sahasrehi karapada murdhanivahaihi. Then kara means hands, pada feet, murdha head, nivahaha means no multitudes. So Sahasrehi Guruvarappa, then afterwards, having brought the Vishwa Virat into a being, then you alone were there. Nisesha Jivatmakaha Nirbhataha Asi. Guruvarappa, you yourself shine in the form of all jivas endowed with innumerable, countless what? All the jivas with their respective hands, feet, and heads, etc. All the forms. Sahasrehi karapada murdhani vahaihi nisesha jivatmakaha nirbhataha asi. The beauty is, finally it is said, who is jivaha? You alone are there as the jiva in every form. Jivatmakaha, you alone are there in the form of jiva. Because Bhagavan entered, Bhagavan brought the whole Jagat into manifestation. Therefore, Bhagavan has become what now? Bhagavan alone is there as the Jiva in all the forms, names, and functions. So, Jivatmakaha Nirbhataha asi, you remain shining in the form of Jiva. There's no Jiva other than you. Every Jiva is Bhagavan only. So, every Jiva is essentially one and the same. Essentially, every Jiva is the same Vastu. Jivatmakaha nirbhataha asi. Bhagavan is there as the very Jivatma, as the truth of I in every being. Therefore, the person, the only person obtaining as the Jiva in all the beings is Bhagavan. Therefore, all the heads are whose heads? All the heads are Bhagavan's heads only. All the hands are Bhagavan's hands. All the feet are Bhagavan's feet. So Bhagavan is the one who is endowed with innumerable, countless forms, names and functions, isn't it? That's why Sahasrehi Kara Pada Murdha Nivahaihi. With the multitudes of thousands and thousands of heads, hands, and feet, you alone are there as the Jiva in all the beings. That is why the Sahasram is a Upalakshanam. Upalakshanam is what? It's a Upalakshanam for innumerability, countlessness. All the heads are Bhagavan's heads. All the feet are Bhagavan's feet. Because Bhagavan alone is there as the Jiva in everyone. Just as only water is there in all the waves as the only truth. So Bhagavan is there as the only truth, only Jiva in all the beings. Therefore, Jivatmakaha Nirbhataha asi. You alone are there in him of Jivatma. As the individual self in all the forms, names, and functions, all the forms. Therefore, who is the one who is endowed with all these innumerable, countless heads and hands and legs? It's called Virat. That's why what is said in Purusha Suktam is a Sahasrashirsha Purushaha Sahasrakshas Sahasrapat Sabhomim Vishvato Vritva Atyatishtaddashangulam Purusha Yevedagam Sarvam Yadbhotai Yachabhoyam Utamrutatvaseshanaha. Idam Sarvam Virat. All that is there is only Bhagavan. In fact, we don't say Bhagavan has all the heads. All the heads are Bhagavan, all the feet are Bhagavan, all the hands are Bhagavan. So all the jivas are Bhagavan. Like all the waves are water. All the jivas are essentially what? One and the only Vastu. Therefore, he says, Bhattarji says, Sahasraih Karapadamurdhanivahair Nisesha Jivatmako Nirbhatosi. So Bhagavan alone is there. And having said that, he says, Virat Ahvayam. So who is Virat now? Guruvarappa, you alone are in the form of the whole Jagat, which is known as Virat, appearing in in the form of everything. So Virat is one of the names of the Lord. Virat is the Upanishadic expression. Vishnu is the Puranic expression, same meaning. Sarvam Vyapya Tishtati. Bhagavan remains pervading everything. Bhagavan alone is in the form of everything. All the forms are Bhagavan. One who alone is shining in all forms, in every form is Virat. So we don't say Jagat as Jagat. We look at the whole Jagat as Bhagavan. We do not look at the Jagat as Jagat. We look at the Jagat as Bhagavan. Where is Jagat? There's no Jagat. There's only Bhagavan. There's no Jagat, there's only Bhagavan. Means where are you? You are also not there. Only Bhagavan means Ahankara is resolved in Bhagavan. There's neither Jagat nor Jiva. Jiva is Bhagavan. Bhagavan alone is in the form of Jiva. Bhagavan alone is in the form of Jagat. So Nirbhataha, see. And having said that, Bhattacharya slowly tells you who are of such glory, which means all the diseases are you, the healing power also is you, everything is you. Therefore, what he says now, Marutpuradhipa, Marutpura Adhipa. Marut means wind. The wind is an element which stands for our own pranas. Pura means the physical body, which is where all the physiological functions are happening. The physical body which accommodates, within which all the physiological functions are happening, is the Puram. Puram is a physical body. Marut stands for subtle body. Adhipaha, the one who is distinct from this body, mind, sense complex is Adhipaha. Bhagavan, the boss, the Adhipaha, the Lord, the ruler, the protector, the sustainer. In fact, Adhipaha means what? Paha stands for protector. One who sustains. Adhipatihi. The pati iti patihi. So Adhipaha, Adhipatihi means one who protects. Remaining as the very truth, one who protects and sustains is Adhipaha. The Lord. He said Adhipaha means Lord. So Guru Marutpuradhipaha, Guru, same meaning. Vayupuresha. So Marutpuradhipaha means the one who remaining as the Lord of this body, mind, and complex. One who is there as the Lord of the whole Jagat also. The Lord of the whole Jagat is there as the Lord of every individual body, mind, and complex. Hey Marutpuradhipa, O Guruvarappa, O Lord, Marutpuradhipa, Sarva Amayat Mam Trayasva. See, Trayate is Atmane Padam. Therefore, Trayate protects. Imperative Trayasva. What is imperative? Trayasva. Imperative verb. May you protect. Trayate. Vandate Vandasva. Trayate Trayasva. Trayasva. He Marutpuradhipa, Sarva Amayat Mam Trayasva. May you protect me from all maladies. Amayaha means sickness, disease. Sarva Amayat Mam Trayasva. May you protect me from all ailments, from every problem I have. Trayasva imperative. Sarvamayatra pahimam. So with this, the fifth dashakam is completed. I will present you a summary of the fifth dashakam next class. Quickly, I'll tell you what it is. But the sixth dashakam, you'll all love it. You know why? You're just going to see Bhagavan in the form of the universe. Mainly it is for Upasanam. So beautiful. How it's called Saguna Brahma, Saguna Upasanam. How to meditate upon Bhagavan. People have always a confusion how to meditate upon Bhagavan. So you must, it's called Virad Upasanam. In Upanishads, they present Virad Upasanam. In Puranas also, they present Virad Upasanam. How to invoke Bhagavan. Okay, seeing Bhagavan in the form of the universe. It means you had invoked the whole Jagat. Bhagavan has been invoked now in the form of the Jagat. If you see what you place your mind first in Bhagavan's feet, then gradually go by one bit. It's called Padadi Keshanta Varnanam. Keshadi Pada Anta Varnanam. We have both also. Isn't it? Seeing Bhagavan from toe to head, isn't it? Feet to head and head to feet. Two ways of seeing. And you see everything. You can't go and see Bhagavan. Bhagavan is in the form of the Jagat. It's called Saguna Upasanam. How to place, people ask how to meditate, how to meditate. This is the meditation. Okay. Nididhyasanam, contemplation for you, you need to know your own Surupam. That is later on. Initially, people want to know how to meditate. This is the way you have to meditate. Let me start it today and then we continue next class. Beautiful. Next days we'll all enjoy it definitely. Evan chatur, so Shashtam Dashakam. Shat 6, Shashtam 6th Dashakam. Shashtam Dashakam. Virad Rupa Varnanam now. Evam Chaturdasha Jaganmayatangatasya. Evam Chaturdasha Jaganmayatangatasya. Patalamisha tava padatalam vadanti. Adordvadeshamapi devarasatalam te. Gulpadvayam khalu mahatalam adbhutatman. Evam chaturdasha jaganmayatangatasya. Patalamisha tava padatalam vadanti. Padordvadeshamapi devarasatelante. Gulpadvayam khalu mahatalam adbhutatman. See, the whole Narayaniam was in the form of Bhattacharya talking to Bhagavan. That's why sometimes you see the words in vocative case, because Bhagavan is addressing all the time. So in this first verse, Bhattacharya addresses Bhagavan as Adbhutatman. Adbhutatman. So the word Atman doesn't mean Atma here. One who is in the form of a wonder. What is Bhagavan's Rupa? Bhagavan is a wonder. See, Adbhutatman, oh wonder. Oh the Lord, you who are the very wonder. You are wonder yourself. Adbhutatman. So addressing Bhagavan as the oh Lord, you who are the very wonder. You who are the very wonder. Adbhutatman, having said, here Padadi Dhyanam. Okay, we begin our Dhyanam from Pada. We do not know there are 14 worlds, 7 above, 7 below. Chaturdasha Bhuvanani. The whole, all 14 worlds together constitute what? Universe, cosmos. We are in Bhuloka. There are 7 below, 6 above us, isn't it? So 7 worlds below. So 7 worlds below means we say Patala, Atala, Vitala, Sutala, Talatala, Mahatala, Rasatala, Patala. Okay, 7 words. Atala, Atala Lokaha, Atalaha, Vitalaha, Sutalaha, Talatalaha, Mahatalaha, Rasatalaha, Patalaha. Nothing beyond Patala. We have no idea, clue of what Patala is. Okay, all that is, there's only Bhagavan. There's neither heaven nor the Patala, which is outside of Bhagavan. The whole is Bhagavan. Good and evil both are Bhagavan. Dharma, adharma are Bhagavan. Punya, papas are Bhagavan. Sukha, dukkham is Bhagavan. All that is, there's only Bhagavan. Means there's neither you nor the Jagat. So, what if we start with Patala? So, Bhagavan, Patala is what now? Look, understand the Patala as Bhagavan's feet. Patala. Patala. So, Chaturdasha Jaganmayatam Gataha. First word. Dwarapa. Chaturdasha Jaganmayatam Gataha means you alone are in the form of the universe of 14 worlds. I want every sentence here. Because it's a clean teaching. There's no ambiguity here. Chaturdasha Jaganmayatam Gataha means you alone are in the form of universe of 14 worlds. Chaturdasha Jaganmayatam Gataha. And of such you, Patalam Isha Tava Padatalam Vadanti. Varapa, all the scriptures state Patalam as your feet. Patalamisha Tava Padatalam Vadanti. Now we are going to personify, isn't it? See, the Patalam, Isha, O ruler of the universe, Isha, Tava Padatalam, Patalam Vadanti. Now, no more Patala. Bhagavan's feet become Patala. Patala is the mouth, Bhagavan's feet alone are the mouth Patala Loka. Patalamisha Tava Padatalam Vadanti. Padordhvadeshamapi Devarasatalante. The third line, Bhattadaji addresses Bhagavan as Deva, O effulgent Lord. Rasatala Lokaha is what? Pada Urdhva Desham. Pada Urdhva Desham. You know, Urdhva Desha. Padasya Urdhva Desha. See, this is a Pada. Urdhva Desha. Urdhva Desha means the upper part of the foot is a sole, isn't it? Upper part of the foot is what? Rasatalaha. The feet are stand for Patala. And the upper part of the feet stand for Rasatala. Pada, Padordhva, Pada Urdhva Desham. Padordhva Deshamapi. Padordhva Deshamapi Devarasatalam Te. Te means Tava. Varpa Tava Rasat. Tava Pada Urdhva Desham Rasatalam. Tava Padatalam Patalam. Tava Urdhva Desh. Pada Urdhva Desham Rasatalam. Then Gulpadvayam Kalu Mahatalam Adbhutatman. Then Gulpadvayam, Gulpaha means ankles. Gulpadvayam, the two ankles, Gulpaha is pulling a shabda. Gulpaha means ankle. Gulpadvayam, the two gulpas, two ankles are what? Mahatalam. You already covered 3 lokas. Okay. We'll see next class. Let us stand, but we are still Bhagavan's feet. Padatalam, Pada Urdhvadeshaha, Gulpadvayam. 3 lokas we have seen. You don't need to go and see 3 lokas now. We've already seen. we are okay. Next loka, next verse class will be very interesting. We are going to do dhyanam together. Okay, it's going to be Virat Upasanam. We'll do that. Bhagavad Dhyanam we'll do in the class. Om Purnamadav Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate. We completed the Dashakam, so I want to chant Narayana also. Purnas Om Purnamadav Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate. Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnameva Vasishyate. Om Shanti Shanti
Shanti
Shanti.
Shanti.
Harihi Om Tat Sat. Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Harihi
Harihi
Om.
Om.